Well, Peter M. Beck spends much of his time moving between the US and Korea, teaching at both the American University in Washington and the Yonsei University in Seoul. He's a leading expert on North Korea. He joins us now in our Washington studio. Thanks for being there.
Thank you, Tony.
If the recent aggression amounts to North Korean brinkmanship, what do you think it would take to push us over the brink into war?
Well, this is a very serious development. It's the first time since the Korean War that we've had the North launching artillery and the South returning fire on civilian targets. So this does take us one step closer to the brink of war. You know, so far cooler heads have prevailed, but I'm very worried that the next time that this happens, it could be more serious, and if we're not careful, this could spiral into war.
We have seen a few incidents over the years, and very recently, for example, the sinking of a South Korean warship was, 45
Right.
sailors were killed in that event. So I'm wondering, is that worse, or is this one worse?
Well, I think this is worse. With the Cheonan sinking, when it happened, I wasn't sure that the North Koreans had done it. And even now that we have the final investigation report, it's still, we didn't really quite end up with the smoking gun. There are still lingering suspicions or questions that haven't been answered about that attack. There's still some mystery surrounding it, whereas this is just a very blatant attack on South Korea.
So how would you rank this among the various military provocations and crises that there have been since the end of the Korean War?
Of course, it's very subjective, but this is very close to the top. I expected another clash in the West Sea and the Yellow Sea, but I did not expect them to start shelling an island populated with over 1,000 civilians.
Well, we are now going to see, we've got, in fact, a US carrier group steaming into the Yellow Sea at the moment to conduct war games with the South Koreans. The North Korean military say there'll be more attacks if there's further South Korean provocation. So one wonders if they're going to read these war games as provocation and if there is going to be a tit-for-tat attacks continuing.
Well, the war games have been a fact of life on the Korean peninsula since the end of the Korean War. So, I think the North Koreans can look for and find almost any pretext they want for taking bellicose actions. But again, these actions are nothing new.
The interesting thing is the South Koreans are now beginning to talk about taking a much harder approach. In fact, talking about new rules of engagement. Do you have any idea what those new rules of engagement will be?
No, actually I don't, but they really have to take a harder line. I'm as peace-loving as anyone, but